Okay, we're now going to continue with the critical thinking exercise number 2, and we're still talking about manipulation inside of critical thinking. And so, am I being manipulated or am I manipulating others? Now, remember, critical thinking is the ability to think clearly in conversations which may be controversial, and this is where it's tough, and to determine if the information is fact or opinion. Okay, so earlier you've learned to recognize that there's a difference between facts or opinion, and how can I actually walk through this to make sure that somebody's not using their opinion to manipulate me. So if you or someone else, if you're emotional during a conversation, opinion is likely at work, and the chances of you being manipulated or manipulating someone else are very high. And we don't want to be manipulated. I mean, we've all been there. It's not pleasant. It feels ugly. So if it feels bad if you're manipulated, it feels the same way if you're manipulating someone else. And you can't say, well, I had good intentions. No, people have a right to make a choice in their life. That means that they should be able to be presented with facts and be allowed to make their own choices without people, degrading them and saying, terrible things like you're a loser for not doing it my way. Does that make sense? And so what is manipulation? Saying or doing something, usually deceitful, that gets you what you want. And so again, you may say I had good intentions, doesn't make any difference. Facts are powerful. They speak for themselves. And so that's what we want to stick with, all right? So I want you to spend some time over the next few pages, and I want you to reflect on occasions and situations that have happened to you when you've actually been manipulated or when you've manipulated somebody else. And so as you go through these pages, you're going to notice that these are really, let me stop that. So you can see over the next couple of pages ways that people can manipulate you. There's many ways that people can be manipulated, and one of them is through appealing to the multitude. So you're going to spend some time reviewing that and see when this has happened, when people have actually appealed to the multitude. There's some illustrations here, words to look for, everyone, all of your friends. I had someone at one point come up to me and they said, everybody's talking about you. And I go, really? And who are those people? And he said, well, just everybody. And I go, really? Seriously? I have a pen and paper right here in front of me. Tell me who these people are. And of course, he would never tell me because it wasn't true. And so this is what happens, but it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, there's tons of people against me. And we don't want that to happen to you, because as soon as you feel like that's happening, then you know that this person is probably doing what is called appealing to the multitude. And this is a form of manipulation that you need to be aware of so it doesn't happen to you, but also so that you don't do it to other people. Okay, the next one is attacking the person. And so this happens frequently. People are very aggressive and they just come right up to you, and you're like, you get really scared and feel defensive, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'll just agree to everything they're saying because I'm feeling threatened. And so this is another form of manipulation that you need to be aware of. And then the final one is the exaggerator. I've told you a million times to stop exaggerating. And so this is the person that uses a lot of exaggeration in order to make their point. And so when they use words like never and everything a million times, you always, and most of the people, someone told me recently that they said that the millennial generation, the study showed that most of the millennial generation lived at home with their parents. And I started laughing, and I said, I'd like to see that study. Did they because I know what sample sizes are and I know how we come up with statistics. And I said, I find that hard to believe. And I would like to see the actual study behind that. So usually when people are using these exaggerating type of words, you are about to be manipulated and you want to protect yourself from that, okay? So spend some time going over these pages. Look at when you've been a victim of this yourself, and that you also need to apply when you've done it with other people. Because one of the things that we really try to stress in Core Purpose is that while this course is about you, and we want it to be about you, we also want you to be aware that we don't think that you or me or anybody else are innocent in terms of how we have lived our life. So at some point in your life, you've probably manipulated somebody. And maybe there's little, very small areas of your life that you have a bias for, and it's really more of an opinion, but you're using it to manipulate other people. And again, you might think you have good intentions, but it's not going to work well for you and that person in the end, because it reduces our credibility. And healthy relationships do not manipulate one another. Healthy relationships know that the relationship is strong enough that I can be honest and state some facts, and you can state some facts, and our relationship's still going to remain intact, and we'll probably learn something from that. And we also recognize that in a healthy relationship, I can state an opinion and know it's an opinion, and that the other person knows it's an opinion, and they're not going to hold that against me either, because you have that beautiful harmony that really works in a relationship that's healthy. And so think about some of these things that you're learning over these last 5 chapters, and let's see what we can start applying. And again, what some of the stuff that you got to clear out of your life, they don't serve you well if it's about manipulation, or if you're living your life based upon opinion, or you're exaggerating your personality traits. These aren't going to serve you well in terms of pursuing and living your purpose. We want you to be 1%, and that requires maturity. And so all of these things we're talking about will help you in terms of investing in yourself so that you can mature, become more authentic, and that's the credible person that we're looking for, okay? So enjoy doing these next exercises, and I'll see you at the next session.